Hello, my name is Elijah Wells, and today's review is Colin Trevorrow's new movie, Jurassic World Dominion. Taking place 4 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, Owen and Claire and their adopted child live a very quiet life in, in Colorado. Until some poachers come along and essentially traffic her to some very shady organisation that's located in northern Italy, or in a really mountainous area in Italy. The organisation itself is basically like, oh, we want to exploit dinosaurs to advance medical care and to advance medicine, but really it's just harvesting locusts just so it can disrupt the food pyramid. And of course, it was around. The subplot is that humans and dinosaurs are essentially now living as one, even though it gets really rough. Like there's a lot of deaths, a lot of shady stuff going on, and animal trafficking, and even some black market stuff that goes on when both Claire and Owen end up in Malta. Although with the exception of the original 1993 movie by Spielberg, I'm not going to act like Jurassic Park and World were complete masterpieces of the franchise cinema, but this film just felt like it was both long-winded at the same time and completely out of ideas at the same time, to be completely honest with you. Like, I think I remember that there was like certain scenes, particularly when they were landing, when there was a helicopter landing between the shady guys at headquarters. I was like, oh yes, we have T-Rexes, yes, and that. And he said it like his bodyguard said it like a very juvenile, a very calm tone, like, oh yeah, we have T-Rexes, and it feels like a shot-for-shot remake of Richard Attenborough's scene from the original movie. And even when that shady guy, even though I can't remember his name, since the villain and this is pretty forgettable at best, he suffered the same fate as Wayne Bridges' character from the original one, as he gets sprayed on by these dinosaurs with flappy skins and sprays some oily substance on him, and he has, for a callback reason, this soda can that can smuggle embryos out of Jurassic Park. What was the point of that? Like, it was like buried in the original movie. Like, why are you doing this? The movie just becomes sublime to the utter ridiculous, where it tries for some reason to incorporate human trafficking and animal trafficking into the mix. Yes, of course, I did mention that with the civilization of dinosaurs comes black markets and animal trading and like animal trafficking and all that involves dinosaurs and all that. But I feel like it kind of felt a tad out of depth. Like one of the bad guys tried to like, ooh, we shall kidnap Owen's daughter because for some really overly convoluted reasons, like, oh, the original mother had this virgin birth thing done to her. Like, it gets really convoluted and just gets really unclear what happens. Like, even trying to think of it out loud, it kind of scrambles my brain up a little bit, like code or something. I swear this and when B.D. Wong, who appeared in all of the movies, it was like, yes, we need your blood because it has the DNA to stop the thing that's happening with locusts. Yeah, there's the entire subplot with locusts. And I was like, you could have, like, I don't know, asked for blood donation, I guess. Like, isn't that a thing in sci-fi films anymore? Like, oh, we're not going to kidnap you and send you all the way to Italy and just drag your parents along, but do you want to go do NHS blood donations? Like, that entire scene, that entire movie could have been solved if they said yes or no, depending what America's position on blood donation is. Even the main bad guy seems pretty mediocre at best. Like, I swear, I think the moment he just came in, I felt like, ooh, bad guy energy. I just got that vibe just coming straight off him. Like, he kind of has this presence, like, of the villain. Like, he's going to do something wrong, like, and all that. Like, I've seen enough Scooby-Doo episodes to kind of know when he is. Like, the moment he just came in, like, yep, bad guy. And I haven't even seen the film, like, once before. I just saw it as it is. Like, at least do something surprising, but I think I'm getting, like, some bad guy aura around him. Like, I'm saying bad guy more than Billie Eilish at this rate. Okay, I kind of said a lot of negativity around the movie, but for what it's worth, I really do welcome the comeback of Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, who the latter was in the previous movie before then, but only in a committee meeting. But for this time, they have a lot more presence, a lot more role in the movie, and I really liked it. Like, even though legacy sequels have been getting a lot of criticism as being like cash cows and just being a glorified whatever, how many installment of the original trilogy it was or original film it was, but at least it's a little bit very refreshing to see all three of these characters back. In contrast to Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, even though they kind of being exceptional in these movies, but at least it was a bit of fresh air. Even one of the opening scenes where Bryce Dallas Howard's character like pulls over, and you get this incredibly beautifully shot scene where they just pulled over and questioned what they were doing was even right anymore, considering of the what the implication it is. It's set in this like rural countryside of some sort, like the plain lands. Like it is a very gorgeously shot scene. Like I feel like this is almost like a better movie was trying to like gouge out its own way out of the movie, but it found itself like jammed into a movie that feels at best a bit overly complicated at best if you think way too hard into it, and the movie just feels like it runs out of ideas like a little too quickly in my standards. Although the first two films weren't perfect blockbuster movies in contrast to the 1993 original, but at least these films aren't like high art. There are definitely some entertaining movies, even though I definitely liked the Fallen Kingdom one, even though a lot of people had qualms in the movie, particularly the cloning subplot, which they emphasize a lot more in this movie, like cloning of humans, which kind of felt really out of nowhere in the last film, but they at least emphasized it. But I wish they were a little more subtle about it, at least. Because I think this is more of a movie about Dolly the sheep than about dinosaurs. Jurassic World Dominion, this movie's almost like a party that really that's trying its best to come to an end sooner rather than later. Like, it's a movie that feels like it's begging to be put out of its own misery, I guess. Like, again, the story is the story is fairly long-winded. The plot is very long-winded. The story at best is really half-baked. And things feel really ranging from like predictable to at best really unearned, and just going into that familiar territory without adding anything that's really of value or really anything that's new. Even though Chris Pratt and Dallas Howard and in the original cast of the 1993 movie give it all, and both have some pretty great cinematography, but all in all, this film just feels like the franchise knew it was coming to an end and just had no idea how to end it, so they just cobbled it up all together, like in a packet. Like, imagine if there was a fifth Avengers movie and it was like the last MCU movie ever, and the only way they try to do it is like, this happens and that happens and this happens and that happens and this happens and that happens, and just put it all together without any form of logical reason. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Like, performances are great. I like the cinematography in the movie, but the film just feels like a very anticlimactic climax to an otherwise a very decent trilogy. So, what do you think of Jurassic World Dominion? Comment below what do you think about the movie, like this video, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe on my YouTube account, and this is Elijah Wells, and bye!